Hello!
We're recording now. Two things, very important for today. We will be taking advantage of the chat that we have on CourseLink that we've been using. It's in the same place as it's been all of last week. Go and check it out because we're going to be popping in links there for you to use throughout.
Links from the internet.
From the interwebs, yes. And also, you need a ruler. And if you don't have a ruler, like a real ruler, that's totally fine. We have a link for you right here where you can go and get a virtual digital ruler. You just need to kind of guesstimate the size of your screen. Don't worry too much if it's not like uber accurate. Would be helpful.
We're looking for the uber accuracy.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. So much tech to worry about, and I think we're ready to go. Are you? Saw wet owls. Now this is a priority, so let's see how you're feeling. Like number 4 is popular. I totally hear you.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Number 4 is a popular owl. Number 5 is also a popular owl. I wonder what number 5 is feeling. What do you think?
I'm interested in the one in from the right, one down from the top, which is kind of like
this one?
No, one. Yeah, which
yeah.
It's like
this
one's like what?
What? Hello, I am here. Yep.
And we've got a lot of one in from the left and on the bottom row.
Yep, this bottom one here.
No, the others.
The other
one
ones.
in from the left.
Oh yeah.
That's a very angry.
That's a very angry saw-whet owl.
What do you mean it's vibrant?
You said it would be vibrant. It's not. Yeah. Number one's cool. Woo! Yay, the many faces of the saw-whet owls. Very adorable owls.
Put in the chat, did anybody get out and do some Terry Fox running or moving or skating or biking or walking?
Something. We did a little biking.
We did a family bike for the Terry Fox, kind of distanced.
That's right.
In as much as our children can be distanced when they're verging towards people and saying, hello!
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 Our children are not shy. I wonder why.
I don't know.
Okay, cool. Great. So,
number 1 owl is for those that are caffeinated.
Oh, cheers. Caffeinated owl is in the 1A. I gotcha. Okay.
10K with the swim team. Oh my God.
We're just still welcoming in a few more people. We are going to need to get started though.
Like you did 10K of swimming?
What?
Or that your swim team ran 10K.
Oh, either way, impressive.
Yeah, so 10K of swimming
well
would
done.
Be like one drowned Alex. Unless I'm being dragged behind a boat.
Okay. Welcome to the new ones coming in. We listened to some music. We had a conversation about the feelings of saw-whet owls. Just to give you the important stuff, please make sure that you join us on the chat today because we'll be popping in important links for today's activities. And also you'll need a ruler, just a little ruler about the song or even smaller, doesn't matter. If you don't have one, there's a link right here where you can go and get a virtual sort of internet ruler. You can also Google internet ruler, and you can get all sorts of different tools available to you, which is kind of cool. And so use it for other things in the future. And are you ready?
Sure. What are we doing?
As ready as anyone will be. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Going to clear all of your beautiful contributions.
I have them.
You have saved them. Okay.
They are saved.
They are saved. Okay, wonderful.
Rhyming with David.
Okay. Here we go. So, we gave you a little bit of homework last time. We told you, we hope that we blew your minds with the Untitled life cycle and all of their amazing awesomeness. And we asked you to take a look at the veliger life cycle. So this is just a reminder, right? We're not going to it's right here. So we're not going to tell it to you. It's like the answer is right in front of us, and it is. So this is it. What we want to remind you, though, is what we want you to do is to really kind of dig deep into this, right? So we're not asking you to memorize these things. We're not going to give you this thing, delete one of the words and say fill in the missing whatever. No.
Why wouldn't we do that?
Because that's so lame, and you can Google it anytime. Yep. I don't remember these things, right? We mess up these words all the time. We just Google them to make sure that we got them right when it matters, okay? You can do the same thing. What we want you to do is to think about it from like a cost benefit. Like, what are the costs associated with this life cycle? What are the benefits associated with this life cycle as you're learning about evolution? So again, you're not supposed to be able to answer all of these things like today, right? These are just like guiding questions that we want you to go, oh, wait a second, maybe that applies to this particular situation.
Questions in the chat about where is the homework. The homework is almost always like some of the last couple of slides of the preceding lecture.
Yeah.
And when I say lecture, I'm saying the word lecture. I'm saying class. I'm like Zoom Hakuna Matata session together.
Yeah, so we post all of these just after each class, and you can take a look, and it's clearly labeled homework and all of that stuff. Okay, good. You can do it on your own time.
And minds were blown.
Minds were blown. Oh,
At
yay.
least one.
Thank you. Unionids are amazing. Okay, so for Wednesday, just to kind of really push, like be more specific, okay, for Wednesday, we'd love for you to think about one advantage and one disadvantage for the glochidia larval strategy. And if you don't know what WTF we are talking about, that is fine. Google stuff. This is your homework, okay? So Google glochidia larvae, Google like all sorts of different things. Think about advantages and disadvantages. Imagine that you are a glochidia larva. What would freak you out? What would make you super happy? And then start with that.
Yeah, imagine that you're a mussel. You are mussels.
You are mussels.
You are mussels. You're like Arnold Schwarzenegger living on the bottom of the rivers and streams of eastern North America.
Yeah.
And you have your glochidia larva. Advantages or disadvantages, or you're Chris Rock and you're at the bottom of the Great Lakes system and you've got veliger larva, and
He also has COVID. I hope he gets better.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about him for that. I was thinking about him for Madagascar and the zebra.
Oh, the zebra, right? The zebra mussel. Okay, so imagine yourself a larvae and imagine what would terrify you and what would make you very happy. And start with that and then start Googling some more things.
Oh, glochidia,
Okay.
oh, glochidia.
For today, we're going to do this like totally different thing. It's going to be fun. There is a point to it.
We insist.
We insist.
It will be fun.
It will be fun.
There will be fun.
There is a point to it, but what we want you to do is to, as we're doing this activity, we want you to like not worry too much about the result, the end. We want you to think about the process. This is our day to talk about the scientific method. We're going to introduce a method to you. It's not necessarily going to be the best method. And so what we want you to do is take note, okay? Don't share, just go through the experience and then we're going to share. And then you can like destroy us as scientists, okay? So we want you to
I
kind
will
of...
destroy you on Emmy last night.
Oh, that's right. Yay.
So did Ted Lasso.
Woo! Okay. So here, we're going to walk you through a process, okay? So hold on, get ready. And we hope that you enjoy it. We first, though, are going to talk a little bit about data presentation. And that gets me so excited. I hope you didn't roll your eyes.
No, don't roll your eyes, because excuse me, when I think about writing a paper, I very rarely, as a scientist, I very rarely think about writing right away. Writing is like later on, and I enjoy writing, but when I think about writing a paper, I think about making a figure, because I've heard the saying that like a picture is worth like, I don't know, roughly 1,000 words, and maybe with inflation worth like 10,000 now. But because how you display data as a scientist, how you read data as a scientist or a non-scientist are super important. And I think you might be the generation of 1070 students that are most in tune with this, simply because of the last 18 months. Physically representing data and numbers with phylogenies, with maps, with histograms, with line graphs, that's become kind of like a daily thing. And you've had to get better and maybe teach your family how to get better at it and interpret it, because not everybody's good at it. And there was in fact this paper written like many moons ago.
Whoa.
How to display data badly. Maybe this is what I'll title my answer when I finish.
Nice. So yeah, it can really, it's a powerful tool to be able to display information well. And so your sort of culminating assignment for the end of this course is to display data well. We want you to make an infographic. But for now, let's start. Like, that's at the end. That's like 10 weeks away from now. That's like future you. So what we want to do is first have a little fun understanding how data can be used badly, and we're going to do this quickly.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
why are you pointing at me?
Because you talk, you're chatty. Okay.
I'm chatty. Let's rewind the tape.
Okay.
And see.
Get your stamps ready, but do not click until we say the word go. Okay? So hold off.
Wait.
Oh, you want to?
I know.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So maps, displaying data badly, can have a negative effect on survival, for instance.
Serious consequences if you are familiar with this particular instance. This is just fraudulent data, right? Okay, so we don't do fraudulent.
We don't, yeah, no Sharpies.
Not allowed. Sharpies not allowed. Get your stamps ready, though?
Especially on your computer screen, because that's like...
Okay, and hold off with your stamps, please. Okay. And thank you. Okay, so we have some data here, and take a look at it. And what we want you to do is hold off, do not stamp, think.
With your brain.
Hover over which error you think is being committed here in the data, but do not stamp yet, please. Just let everyone take a look. We'll give you a few more seconds.
And this one I've got to get.
Are you ready? Are you ready? So when I say that magic word, 1, 2, 3, go.
Stamp!
I love this. This is so good. Thank you. Amazing. Okay, so we're definitely on the left-hand side of all of the problems. I can't see the problems anymore because they are so covered with your answers, but that's delightful. It doesn't matter. Yeah, good. Now, there is not one perfect answer, so that is totally fine. Fraudulent representation, I'm sure that speaks to the motivation of this particular graph. Absolutely, right? So we can just say it's that, or we can kind of dive into the more specifics of it. Is totally
yeah, and
fine.
There's a real specific, those of you who are thinking about the y-axis.
There we go. Owen's drawing it for us. Thank you, Owen.
Yep, thank you.
That's
one
really
of those
good.
Jumps is not like the other.
Yeah, good. Okay, so Owen's got it demonstrated super well. And then all of these things are entirely possible. They lead to the sort of the fraudulent representation of the data, because what happens is, do you want to, we're going to clear.
Yeah, I can.
What happens is, if we actually graph these the way that they should be graphed, right, what we end up with is this, right? So take a look at the slope that was represented. Maybe not so bad. Here's the reality of it if it's put out onto a consistent slope. So wow, yeah, Megan, totally, right? And so these things, and with this background, I'm going to guess that this was a Fox News graph, but CNN is equally as bad.
No, there's not equally. They can also make mistakes.
Yes.
There's a frequency difference.
They're okay. They also make mistakes, and so we see these types of representations all the time in the media, right? Okay. So.
That was good. Now,
this is
holster
uphold
your
it,
annotate.
do not click. This one is a tough one. Okay, so just take a look. You don't need to know what's on the y-axis, but it's kind of cool. It has to do with like how strong these bonds are, blah, blah, blah. But don't worry about it. Just take a look at what information is being conveyed here. And we're going to give you a little bit more time to get your stamps ready. Just hold off, though.
You can stamp? No, you can't.
Don't stamp.
You want to sing that now?
Exactly.
You can leave your stamp behind, but if you don't stamp, well then you don't stamp and you're no friend of mine.
Oh my goodness.
Please don't stamp.
Don't stamp.
Please don't stamp.
Okay, are you ready to get your stamps when I say the magic word? 1, 2, 3, go. Yay.
The magic word is go?
The magic word is go.
What kind of Harry Potter reading have you been doing?
I established it before. Okay.
That's very good.
It's kind of an easy one. Okay, super good.
Not even Hermione would need practice on that one.
Wonderful. Well done. Well done. Okay, yes. So the biggest error here, and you're right, the labeling could be better, like there's a bunch of other things going on as well, but the biggest error is the type of graph, okay? Because what it's suggesting is as an individual organism sort of mutates or changes from a rhesus monkey to a gibbon to a chimpanzee to a human,
It's a new.
their splice site strength increases. Now, clearly, that can't be the case, right? Individuals don't go from one species to another. So what type of graph, put it in the chat if you can, what type of graph, or write it in the text here just on the slide, what type of graph are we looking for to represent these data? Catherine, thank you. Yes. Bar. Owen, thank you. Yes. Bar graph. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I can't read your full name there, but this person that's writing bar, absolutely right. Yep.
Yeah, lots of bars.
Good. That's totally fine.
It's a pub crawl in the...
Yeah.
in the chat.
Okay. Wonderful. That's great. Exactly. So, you know, we have tons and tons of other examples of these sort of bad graphs, but we wanted to kind of just cover, you know, a whole kind of different assortment. We'll do one final one because it's kind of fun. Here we go with this one. Hold off.
Oh, we've got another one after this.
Oh, do we?
Yeah.
Okay. And take a look, and whenever you're ready, 1, 2, 3, go. Okay. So it actually, for those of you that are wondering if it's the type of graph isn't bad. It could be better, but it's not bad. It's not like deceptive in some way. The thing here is the incorrect inference. So the idea, of course, isn't that chocolate consumption yields Nobel Prizes, although if it did, I would be a genius. And certainly it's probably, you know, you can probably get to why a country that has a high per capita consumption of chocolate would also have a higher per capita consumption of Nobel Prizes, in that both of them are associated with economic affluence. But it's way too like close to put them on an XY axis. So it is an incorrect inference.
GM McClure. Now that's a spurious correlation.
Yeah.
You summed it up correctly.
Absolutely. Spurious correlation. Very good, right?
It's a good name for a band.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. So we're going to clear
in the last example, which is a map.
Oh, okay, hold off.
So holster your annotations. So this was a screen grab from a video segment that Fox News ran a little while ago that talked about the fact that it says accusingly, Al Gore said the Arctic would be ice-free in 7 years from now. And he said that in 2012 or 2007. And here is a look at the ice pack in... Can you go back?
Oh, you want the video?
In 20... Nope.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here, you drive.
Nope. Keep...
Okay.
There we go. Stop. Just
don't do anything.
Show me your hands. Okay. No, keep them up. I want to see them. I want to see fingers on the bottom of the screen.
Okay.
So this was the prediction, the statement. This was on Fox News, and they were saying, look, you said it would be ice-free in 2014, and here is what we see, lots and lots of ice. Liar! Now, so use the stamp tool. There's two images that were compared in the Fox News report. You can see them in the upper right-hand... What the heck? This... Somewhere in the upper right-hand corner. Select the two images that were compared in the Fox News report. Yep, you're getting it. And... Hold on. Now I've got to remember what I'm doing. I'm screen grabbing, because you're totally right. Now...
Good.
Tell me in the chat or on the screen what the problem is. Because I think if you're not from Fox News, it might be obvious. And that's...
Callum, well done. Seasons!
Yep. Yep.
Dope! Good. Seasons. Good. Climate. Seasons. Good.
Thank you.
Very good. So, big fraudulent representation of data, right? And maybe it's mostly due to not knowing. Maybe it isn't fraudulent. Maybe they genuinely thought.
I don't know. The data's really easy. Like, there's a link in there. The data's easy to get. Yeah. It should be, anyone who would look at it should see as quickly as you did. Yeah. Seasons matter. Turn.
Right? Seasons matter in biology, like a lot, right? A lot of things don't get studied in the winter. I wonder why.
Yeah, hold on. One more slide.
One more slide.
Come
on! Right? So when you see this now, being able to more critically evaluate data, we see these representations in the media all the time, and that's why we are driven to Twitter to complain about them. because there are major problems associated with giving a message. But the point of all of this is that, an accurate depiction of the data can be very powerful. One of the most powerful examples of that was a single graphic that showed the bottom of the planet with a big hole over it. That was the ozone hole graphic, and you can Google it. It is absolutely famous. And it was the single most important image that convinced the world to come together in an effort, in Montreal, in an effort to reduce the size of the ozone hole. And we're doing it, which is amazing. So images and graphics and figures absolutely matter. They are the best way to communicate with people who are not biologists, who are not climatologists. Okay.
All right, let's clear some of those.
Let's make some figures. So this is where we're going to need you to get your ruler ready and all of that stuff. But first, we'll tell you a little story.
And it's about b-ball.
So, two extremes, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever see a game with these two players?
No, I did not. I mean, I'm old, but I did not.
Okay. So these two players are fantastic. From a biology, just because they're fantastic players, but also from a biology perspective. These two players, Manute Bol and Muggsy Bogues, represent the extreme of one trait in professional basketball, right? Which was height. So Muggsy Bogues was 5'3" and an amazing player, super good at stealing the ball.
It's his highlights that are kind of jumpingly going
Look
through
him
there.
Go.
His speed and his quickness, hands and feet.
So good, right? And Manute Bol on the other side, also a ridiculously amazing activist from Sudan. Was 7'7". And so, had different skills, different abilities. Clearly one of the tallest players. I don't know if he is the tallest player, do you?
I don't remember if he is any longer, but he certainly was at that point.
What's amazing is that for one season, they played on the same team, right? And together they were a pretty strong force. And so we have these variations in our species, just like there is variation in every other species. And in many, many of the traits that we have, there is variation. Sometimes there's zero variation in traits. And start to think about what a trait might be where there is zero variation. Oh, okay.
Zoom is a screen hog.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm...
Arrgh. Okay, so if we want to visualize variation in human height, we can do it this way. We can get a whole bunch of people to stand up and we can make a bar or a histogram, like a bar graph, right? And we can have them wear different clothings depending on different variables. In this particular case, they are wearing clothing based on their sex. So we have females dressed up in white and males dressed up in black. And this was a photo taken a very long time ago, so there are all sorts of problems associated with it. I'm sure you're starting to think about why this figure sucks. But it is a way of representing data, okay? And what we can see is this kind of very satisfying kind of bell curve. Now, we're going to throw a term at you right now. This is a specific term. It is called a normal distribution. And normal in this case specifically refers to that bell curve, okay, where essentially the average is most frequently represented, okay? There are more individuals around the average than there are at the extremes to create this perfect little bell curve. And in fact, if we measure the variation in traits of many, many things, we often see a normal distribution. And when we don't see a normal distribution, we get curious. There must be something going on. And I just kind of want to leave those little bits of sort of Easter egg ideas, because what we want you to do is to think about these, to sort of challenge your brain. We'll bring them up throughout over the next couple of lectures, but we want you to kind of challenge your brain to go, wait a second, why is a normal distribution prevalent? What might a non-normal distribution indicate? Okay. Is this a good graph? You can think about that, pop it in the discussion, chat with each other. It's not amazing. This is a better way. Why is this one better? It makes it easier to compare, right? So if we go back here, how do we know how females compare to males? Are we interested? If we are, we better not put the data like this. It makes it impossible to compare. We can see a normal distribution in males. We can't see anything about females and their distribution. If we put two curves like this, we can quite easily see the difference and be able to compare the two sexes, for example. Okay? That's one of the things.
So if that last curve, in terms of the photo from the top of the gymnasium roof, if what they were trying to show was people,
yes,
that would have been, this shows it. There is an overall a normal distribution. But because they've color-coded it, they've confused the message.
Yeah. Right?
So it could have been this, if they were trying to say one thing, this might have been a way to do it, but they messed it up.
Yep. Okay.
Misogyny, frowny face. Yes.
Yes. Absolutely. Okay.
I know that hand.
Hey, those are our hands. Look at that. So what we want you to do is to get your rulers out and to measure. Okay. So, and just write it down in millimeters, please. Right. So
no other units.
Yeah. If you're doing it in centimeters, just multiply by 10. We want you to measure the length of your ring finger on your left hand and the length of your index finger on your left hand. Okay? We'll just give you a couple of seconds. Hold off. We're gonna give some links to you based on the first letter of your last name to go in and share those data with us. Okay? And please do your best to follow along, because it's gonna make these graphs. It's gonna be great. We need to get it right though.
So we'll give them a second just to measure without giving links?
Yes.
All right.
Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay.
We got no links for you. We got no links for you. And another link will come, and another link will come, but not no links for you. That mother has sent me off on a, like I've been...
They're measuring. Okay.
Ring finger on the left hand and index finger on the left hand.
Yes, on the left hand. Ring finger length and index finger length. Okay. So as you're measuring, what we're going to do is we're going to give you a series of links in the chat, okay, based on the first letter of your last name. So we want you to go in.
So look at your screen, your Zoom screen. Second name.
And here we go. Here are the instructions. So using the ruler, measure, and then we will collect your data using a Google Sheet. So we'll populate these into the chat. And just find a square that hasn't yet been used. And we're going to be collecting it. The first two rows or first two columns are for females, those who identify as female. And then the next two are going to be for those who identify as male. So please go in and populate those data based on the first letter of your last name. We're doing that because Google Sheets has a 100 user per per document limit. So as soon as you are done, please log off so that somebody else can come in.
Get in and get out.
Get in and get out. That's great. You're doing great.
I see you.
Really good. Thank you.
I think it's working.
I think it's working. Thank you for kind of playing with us here. You're doing great.
I should have done a video capture of this.
It's excellent. Well done.
We got numbers.
It's really, really good.
The numbers are what they are. They're neither good nor bad.
We'll just give you another minute to do this. If you've already entered your data, please log off that sheet to allow others to be able to jump on. Really good. How are we doing?
I see a couple of things in the chat. If it's not letting you open the link, it means that it's full. So just try it again.
Okay, and jump off. If you're already on there, you've already entered your data.
And yeah, you're right. Some people are saying this is not a link that you can click in the chat. Clear. You have to copy it, paste it.
Paste.
Heavy traffic. That's the band that opens for the spurious correlations. Same thing. Yeah, if you can't input your data due to heavy traffic, just tranquilo.
Yep, it's okay.
It'll come.
It'll come. And then if you already inputted your data, get off.
And actually, let me just take a look at this because I can give some suggestions. The last link, S to Z. If you're having a really hard time,
Ooh, go there.
jump to S to Z. I think that's the least full room.
Yeah, go to S to Z if you can't get on to the A to F or G to L. Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
Yeah, but this needs to be.
It's so good.
Mm-hmm. Okay, another minute or so. How are we doing?
S to Z has heavy traffic too. Oh my
Oh, goodness.
All right,
That's
I'll
amazing.
go back up in the chopper.
It's okay.
And I'll,
We have time.
the one before it.
The one before it?
Yeah, what's before S to Z? M to R.
M to R
M to R.
isn't quite so full.
M to R.
Okay. If you've inputted your data, get out of there.
Oh, and another thing, make sure, please, I see some of you are putting in letters.
Just the numbers.
Just the numbers. Oh, I should have said that.
Do you want me to go in and start changing it? I can do that. Which ones?
The second and the third. So M and R and whatever comes before M and R has some MMs. This is a good thing. This is actually a good thing about not just presenting data, but recording data, which well-recorded data goes a long way to well-presented data. And so one of those things, one of the cardinal rules about recording your data is don't put more than one thing in a single cell. So in this case, the unit. The unit should be delineated in the header, and I don't think we actually did, so that's our bad.
Yeah.
But that cell is just for the number. Maybe it's not. We've got patterns. Maybe we don't need to.
Yeah?
I want German Prof. Alex to teach. There's nothing that he can do. I feel German Prof. Alex is kind of like Conan. When Conan O'Brien speaks in German, I think he's calculated 1 in every 11 words is actually a word.
Mm. Oh. There we go.
Just Control A, select all, Control.
Yeah, okay.
Because we don't have time to do that.
Okay, you can do that. Yeah, it's just so incredibly slow because of everything. If everyone could clear their stamps on the slide, that would actually speed up the zoom a little bit. Cool. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, command's not appearing, so let's
Yeah.
not worry about it.
Okay.
It's just slow.
Cool. Well done. Easy. That's one of them. Okay. How are we looking?
You look good?
How are the data looking?
Oh,
Yeah.
supreme.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Okay. So what we're going to do is,
Clear the...
yeah, clear the screen would be really helpful. And then I will update. Look at this.
They're all drawings.
Look at this.
Oh!
Oh,
It worked!
it worked. Amazing. Okay. Despite the slowness, it looks really good. Okay. Let's take a look.
We're still recording. We're still presenting. We got our face over there. Faces.
In a second. There we go.
Oh!
Yay. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you so much for doing that.
Put your right hand up in the air. Pat yourself on the back or someone you're sitting beside, because that
Well
was
done.
a first, and that was awesome. We just
Well done.
collected actually more data than many scientific papers that have used this as a data analysis tool.
Yay.
So,
Okay.
friggin' amazing.
Take a look. Okay. We want you to take a look at this. Screenshot it if you want, because we're going to be talking about this. So we conducted a scientific protocol right now, right? We measured finger lengths in like 600 people. And the data are presented here using a bar chart, or what's called a histogram. Okay. And you can see the distribution of the data based upon the height of the bars, right? The frequency. So the number of people that reported their finger length between those different bins of measurement. Okay, so just take a look for a second. You can kind of squint your eyes, tilt your head sideways, and kind of appreciate what the conclusions are, what the trends might be. Ready? What we'd love for you to, so screen capture that if you want, and just hold on to that. You know, you can pop it into a
Oh, I see some good verbs.
PowerPoint slide.
Adjectives up here.
Yay. Okay. Super good. So we're going to talk about this for the rest of this class. Okay. So we want you to keep these figures with you somehow. Okay. So screenshot them. We can come back to them if we need. Here is what we're going to try to do. Breakout rooms can be a little bit slow, but we want to try it and see if you like it. If it's super awkward, we won't do it again. But let's give this a shot. And we want you to answer these questions. And we're going to pop the link to the Google spreadsheet that has these questions in the chat. But because you can only be 100 people on it at one time, once you get into your breakout room, we want you to find the two people whose birthdays are closest to February 6th and November 8th. And those are the people that are going to go to the Google spreadsheet, and they're going to write down your answers as you figure it out. For those in breakout room 1 to 25, we want you to start on the left-hand side and work right. For those of you in 26 to 50, we want you to start on the right-hand side and work left so that we can cover as many of the questions as possible. Okay? We're going to try it. If you hate it, we will never do it again. If you like it, though, that's amazing.
If you hate it, there's fines.
No. Oh, my God.
Oh,
No.
so should I put in the discussion point?
Yes, we're gonna put it in the
In the cat.
in the chat. We're gonna create 50 breakout rooms. It's the maximum that we can on this. So there'll be about 10 of you in a room. Those of you who are just like, I can't talk to anyone right now, you don't have to. There will be chatty people, I'm sure. So go ahead and give this a shot. Okay. I'll go back for just a second if you want to screen capture this is what we want you to discuss and the whole methods that we went through. So screenshot that. And for those of you who aren't going to be going on to the document, this is what it looks like. We're going to keep that link open so that you can go there later today and take a look and read the answers. We're also going to come back and take up the answers we're going to give you about 5 minutes. Okay, so you're going to have to work quickly. Ready? And we're going to create the rooms and go.
Disapparate.
Let's see if it works. I don't know. It may be too heavy, eh?
Not started?
No. Damn.
Is that too heavy a use?
Yeah, I think there's too many people on it. Da-da-da. Yeah, it's too slow. Let's try this. No.
So what we're experiencing right now, when you see us kind of staring off into the dark, we are fighting with the Zoom overlords.
Yep. Zoom doesn't like it. Okay. No worries.
There's some discussions that's already started to happen on the chat.
Okay. So
I have posted the link.
Okay. So some of you are already on it. I see you there. Why don't you, it's fine. We have 5 minutes. We can definitely go through the questions. Sorry about this. I guess we will not be using breakout rooms. It's super weird that it's not working. Okay. No breakout rooms. So okay, so please, for those of you who want to jump onto the document to take a look at the questions, go ahead. For those of you that want to share in the chat, please do go ahead, and we can populate the document as well as the chat with...
Somebody suggests here that Zoom saved the introverts.
Yeah. Oh, I was excited about breakout rooms. Oh. Okay. So the first question is, what patterns do we observe in these data? See if you can come up with one sentence to describe what's going on with the 4 different graphs. There we go. Okay. Here are the questions. And let me actually just pop up the data here so you can take a look. What patterns do we see in the data? If you want to come up with some sentences, obviously we're not in breakout rooms anymore. That breaks my heart. But anyway.
Just the word breakout room raised my heartbeat.
Oh, good. Okay, so you must be delighted. That's fine. If breakout rooms are too stressful, let's just not do that. Well, clearly we can't do them right now anyway. So yeah. Okay, amazing. The other questions are, who did we exclude with the methodology that we followed? What can we conclude from these data? What are the limitations, and how might the sampling have been problematic? Feel free to share any of your thoughts in the chat as well. We only have about 50 people that are on the spreadsheet right now, so if you do want to jump onto the spreadsheet, go ahead.
There's some good ideas coming up in the chat.
Yeah.
So and it's great that they're shared there, and if you want to copy and paste some of the things that you've got there, there's room for you in the chat, it sounds like right now. Yeah.
You're definitely nailing it. I think the question that I really want to focus on, because it is extremely important, is the second question. Who did we exclude with the methodology that we followed? We did this intentionally to exclude a whole bunch of people from this methodology because it is consistent with scientific practice generally. We tend to exclude a lot of people, and then we tend to sort of diminish or devalue their experiences, their variation, their data, in a way that is super problematic. As somebody who often, fills out, gender types of questions, and then it's just asking for 2, and then I can't continue. It pisses me off, like, more than anything, right? The other thing is that sometimes when we fill out these surveys or we fill out these questionnaires, you know, there are all of the genders that are represented, but then when you read the final report, it says, you know, non-binary and other genders were excluded from this analysis due to low sample size. And that pisses me off even more because, you know, we spend time giving our data and we spend time sharing our ideas or sharing our, you know, our bodies in some way, and then they don't even use it. So this is a really important issue that we need to address in science when we're studying humans, but also
when we're studying anything.
That's right.
Yeah.
So big, huge discoveries have been made when women scientists go, I wonder if female birds sing.
Yeah.
And it turns out that they do. But forever, we've been thinking that it's just males, or we've been focusing on males. And it's not just birds, right? What other?
No, I was just involved in a PhD defense of a taxonomic description of new species of fly. And this was great, and it means we have some new names for some undiscovered biodiversity or undescribed biodiversity historically. However, the problem with this thesis was the problem with most of taxonomy for most of the species on the planet, which are arthropods, in that the descriptions are only for the males. So at least 50% of what you're going to catch in a trap, you're not going to be able to name because the descriptions that they have made, the measurements that they conducted, were only on the male organisms. And it's like, so how useful is that? Well, it's at best 50% useful. And it's at worst much, much worser, because you're going to force the scientific community into making conclusions about that species based on the only one that you could identify with your key.
Yep. So, huge issue. We are excluding. And so I recently wrote a paper. It was interesting. I wrote a paper on sort of a general population level approach to something. And it got like destroyed by a reviewer who said, you didn't account for sex differences. You know, and I wrote back and I was like, I don't care about sex differences. I want to capture the whole population. I didn't ask about sex. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. Like, we're not going to do something different for one sex or another, so it doesn't matter. And we tend to just put these sort of binary categories and either completely exclude one of them or not account for the fact that sex and gender and other variables are these sort of spectra, these gradients, and we need to do that. So take a look at the data that we have collected, okay? Are they a normal distribution? Is there anyone here that is definitely not a normal distribution? Go ahead and use your stamps if you want, or color on the slides.
I like it.
Well done. Okay. So we're kind of focusing on the bottom right-hand side here. What I want you to do, if you don't mind, we're going to clear it, and we're going to take a look at it more closely. So take a look at this graph. Can you just take a look at the x-axis? Can you definitely say that the distribution is not normal? What might be interfering with our ability to say whether or not it is normally distributed? James, Jake, Dante, Megan, Nathan.
Yeah, Fullerty.
Jenna, very good.
05.
Yeah, Madison, super good.
The graph stops.
The graph stops. Exactly. It's highly likely that if we had extended the bins beyond just greater than 90 millimeters, that actually would have been a normal distribution that would have been just skewed, just shifted, right? Compared to those of the female distribution. And that kind of makes sense, right? If male finger lengths are larger than female finger lengths. But our graph is what's limiting our ability to see that distribution. Can you see that? So you cannot say that the male finger length, ring finger length, is not normally distributed. You might be able to say that it's likely that it is normally distributed, but what's happening is our graph is failing us. Our visualization is failing us if we want to represent the distribution of finger length. Does that make sense? I hope it does.
Yep. Judging by the comments in the chat, we've got...
That makes sense? Okay. Good. So...
we're in our last minute.
We're in our last minute. And so the results of previous research. This was a controversial study, and it now is no longer controversial in that people are, well...
It's the next slide. There's still lots of controversy.
People are talking about it, but like, I think we figured it out. But this study came out in the year 2000 by Mark Breedlove, who took a look at exactly what we just did. He measured finger length, okay? And then on the Y, or sort of on his different color categories on his bars, he colored them based on gender and sexual orientation. Now, we don't want you to be looking at your fingers going, dude, you mean I'm really straight?
I am so disappointed this morning.
No, because there are flaws associated with this methodology, right? There are flaws related to spurious inference. There are flaws related to the way that things were measured. And there are flaws in the interpretation. But we thought that because we've kind of covered all of those things in today's class, you might be curious to see how some of those flaws can actually make it to journals and publications like Nature and Science.
And this is the biggest journal in the world. And the data set that they used to publish this in the biggest journal in the world is smaller than what we just used today. So that's one small problem. Beyond even, and park that even before the problem with their interpretation. And this just goes to show there's some quotes here about the fact that, as Dr. Jacobs said, there's those that know, those that think about these things, there's clearly an answer about a right and a wrong answer to the interpretation that was presented in that Breedlove paper. However, people continue to use it. And these are quotes from last year from data that still continues to be published. So there are still editors and reviewers who are receiving papers like this that are accepting them and putting them out there. So it goes to the point that you need to be good at interpreting these data and these visualizations of data, whether or not you're just watching the television or whether you're using and contributing to the scientific literature. It's kind of the same lesson.
Okay, how does this apply to mussels? If you're having trouble making a connection, that's totally cool. But what I will say is that there is a lot of variation in mussels. So think about it. Think about how we measure things, what methodologies we use, who we're excluding, whether it's people or mussels. And all of that should help you answer some of these questions that we will continue to talk about next time.
Yeah. So apologies, we went a couple of minutes over, but I'm like proud. Put your hands up again and pat yourselves on the back or on the top of the head or wherever you need a massage, because this was really well done. You just generated data and challenged how we visually interpret it. So have a great couple of days, and we'll talk to you on Wednesday. And if you want to stick around, we'll be here
in about 2 minutes.
Yeah. Right. I got love. Ba, 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 ba. Ooh.